So today I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't actually have a video planned. I've been moving around videos all month because I had it all planned out, and some are still staying, but some have been moving around because that's just what happens. But today, you know what? I decided I got enough time. I'm going to rewatch Tenet, which is probably my favorite movie of the year, or at least a movie that everyone considers a movie because obviously Hamilton. And I am super excited. The theater experience was mind-blowing. And not even kidding. Like, the movie alone was mind-blowing, but seeing that in the theater, so I really am excited to see if it holds up at home. I think it will. I'm just interested to see how different it'll be. I think this is technically a movie night, but just for the sake of what people will look up on YouTube with the YouTube algorithm, I'm gonna see if Tenet holds up on a rewatch.
We live in a twilight world.
Delusion!
Well, guess what? It was just as great on rewatch. I am so happy to say that Tenet, as it almost falls out of the case, Tenet is just as good on rewatch. When I saw this in the theater, it is easily top 5 theater experiences for me. Like, there's a bunch. Saving Private Ryan still, I think, my best. Inception, Die Hard, then probably Tenet. I mean, this movie is fantastic. It has a few problems, okay? The character development isn't always the best, but with that, the end scene, I won't spoil the movie for those who haven't seen it. The ending scene that you probably know if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about, still kind of gets you in the feels, you know. Why didn't I say that word, feels? It still kind of gets you in the feels, you know, and I appreciate that. It's weird because the characters aren't developed that much, which is okay in a movie like this, which I do wish we got to know a little bit more about them. And, you know, some of the times I was like, this starting, I'm like, well, what are they exactly doing? That's really it. Tenet is a phenomenal movie. I have a review of it already up from August when I first saw it, and my thoughts haven't changed. Just home, like I turned it up a bit too loud sometimes during the action scenes, and weirdly during the dialogue scenes. I don't know if this was just because there were people, because I was watching it on our main floor, like talking during some of the scenes, which was fine because I'd already seen it. But obviously the complaint is that you couldn't hear the dialogue because it's buried a bit. And I noticed that in like a few scenes in the theater, although I still could hear it, it just wasn't perfectly clear. But at home, I know they didn't change it. I know that Nolan said, no, we're not changing it. So was it just like something about the theater speakers for everyone? Because I thought, at least, there was like one scene in particular where I was like, I remember being like, going like that in the theater to try to hear it, but then at home I was like, I can hear this perfectly fine. I just had to turn it up, but I always do that for movies. Super loud action scene, and then turn it down like I did for Blade Runner. I'm just looking at Blade Runner, Ford v Ferrari, like all these other like 4K movies. So it's not just Nolan, and obviously those weren't Nolan movies, so it's not just him. And my god, this is one of the best 4Ks I've seen. I mean, if you've seen the Dark Knight trilogy on 4K, it looks a ton like the Dark Knight. Now, like, the color grading is kind of similar in a lot of scenes, but like the Dark Knight, like from 2008, that one, although all of them, but I think that the one I can most match it with is the Dark Knight. So, I mean, you have to get this. If you have a 4K TV, 4K player, all that, Tenet is definitely like a demo movie, just like the opening sequence alone, along with the hallway scene, like the plane, or 747 I think it is, like that / hallway sequence, the whole ending red and blue, and like there's just so many scenes here. Tenet is a phenomenal movie, and the performances are also really, really good. It's like John David Washington, I love him. He's easily becoming one of my favorite actors, like, and I've seen him in 2 movies, BlacKkKlansman and Tenet, and I know that in the next few years I'm going to say he's one of my favorite. Now, obviously, his father, Denzel, is easily one of my favorites, and Robert Pattinson is becoming one of my favorite modern actors, which I never thought I'd say 2 years ago. I'm so glad. And Elizabeth Debicki really is like the heart and soul. I think I heard that somewhere. Someone said that she's the heart and soul of the film, and I think that's really it. Kenneth Branagh's great. I love how Michael Caine, if you watch my unboxing of this that I posted yesterday, Michael Caine, his name, it goes John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, Elizabeth Debicki, with Michael Caine, and then Kenneth Branagh. I love how Michael Caine's name's on there, and he's not really spoiled. He's in one scene. It's nice that I love that he's in all his movies, but Tenet really held up on rewatch. I was just slightly worried because it's such a grand theater experience. Like, this is such an epic, big movie. And then you watch it at home on, obviously, smaller TV, smaller sound system, but it was just as good. This is high quality filmmaking, as I said, one of, if not my favorite movie of the year. And if you've seen Tenet, Even if that's just in the theater, tell me what you think. Are you going to rewatch it? Do you own the 4K? Tell me all that in the comments down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.